Are you considering picking up the Canon M6 and getting involved into the mirrorless systems? Well, today I'm going to be talking about some of the things that I actually don't like about the Canon M6. We're going to be talking about it coming up next. Hey, what's up guys? It's Diana here with Entree Woman TV, helping you transition your passion into the business that you love so you can create the side hustle that you want. And on this channel, I do small business development tips as well as video marketing tips like we'll be talking about today. So if that's something up your alley, definitely consider subscribing. So I've had the Canon M6 for about 5 to 6 months now, and I still love this camera. I don't love it as much as the G85 that I'm recording on right now, but I still love this camera. I actually got really upset with Canon for a lot of the things that I'm going to be talking about and sharing in today's video, but I still decided to keep it because I know if I got rid of it, I would miss it. So I want to talk about some of the stuff that I really just don't like and that Canon could have done better when creating this camera. So there's a lot that Canon could have done to make this camera an amazing camera, but already just by itself with the flip out screen, it flips up, flips down, flips back so that you have a multiple of viewing angles, comes with, its own mirrorless lens options, and you also can have adapted lenses that work just fine with all of the auto focusing and everything like that working the same, even on these mirrorless cameras like the M3 and M6. But there's some things about it that it's just like, why Canon? Why didn't you just go ahead and pull the trigger on it? Like, you could have stole the market and had one of the best, vlogging cameras, best mirrorless cameras and compact cameras on the market. And so some of the things that they did wrong was the fact that, of course, I'm just going to throw it out there, no 4K. Now, whether or not you are interested in doing 4K or you just, want it on everything that you have, I still think that it's important for brands to offer it. It's one thing to offer it and then they choose not to use it, or you choose not to do anything with it for a while. But it's another thing when you're denied it completely. Whether you're going to use it or not, it doesn't matter. That's just like your TV not having certain features or not having certain depths to the color because they figure most people aren't using it yet, where most companies are thinking about future-proofing their devices and creating a brand that they know that you're going to want to stay with and continue to grow as technology grows. I don't know if Canon's thinking like that. So 4K is not that big of a deal, but I am loving starting to experiment and use it more. And I can honestly say it's nice to have options. And that's the thing, it's just like money. You may not have a lot of it, you can have a little bit, or you can have a whole lot, but money gives you options, and the least money that you have, the least options that you have. So this limits kind of your creativity ability with to be able to punch in and zoom in if you're doing 4K, or just like some of the scenes that I did when I did the review of the Aura Proto, or like I like to call them, the Oprah batteries, and I'll link that up above, just as a third-party battery that works perfect in this camera. It's like, when you have so many great things about this, why screw it up with not having that? So that's just one thing. It's not a deal breaker, but no 4K, so that's a thing. Another deal breaker that can be for some people, it wasn't for me. I'm not somebody that is into photography or anything like that, for even a hobby really. So the lens options. So Canon created their own mirrorless line, and it's not a whole lot of lenses available. You would have to buy an adapter and adapt lenses and stuff like that. They'll still work just the same and work pretty well, but it'll start to look a little ridiculous with the larger the lenses that you buy, and it sticks out to here and really weighs down the camera. So that's a thing if you may be doing more pictures and photography with this. But even if you just want more options with doing video, again, that options things comes up when it comes to creating content and you want, to have a blurry background. You have to spend, I think, more money than what's necessary for these smaller lenses that's native and made for these cameras than if you bought, like I did and got a 50mm, or I think it's a 1.7, a Yung Tang or Yung Nao, I don't even know, it was something, starts with a Y, I think it's Yung Noah, but it was a 50mm, really shallow depth of field, so I can get a really pretty blurry background when I do want to take the occasional picture. Then, there was no 50mm that's native already made for this lens. So that's a thing, it's not a deal breaker, but that's another thing about the Canon M6. Now, I think this is one of my biggest pet peeves when it comes to this camera. There is no way to see when I'm doing a video like this, one-man band or one-woman band, I can't see the audio meters when I plug in an audio device. So like I have my lapel microphone on right now, and on my G85, I can clearly see, my audio meters. So if it goes too far red and orange and stuff like that, I'll be able to say, oh man, I need to cut the audio down or readjust, move the microphone or something. Whereas with the Canon M6, you kind of have to go and tarry back and forth, making sure that the audio is precise. And the thing about having good audio, it kind of makes or breaks the video. You can have a fuzzy-ish kind of video, but if the audio is terrible, people are out. They are not sticking around to watch that crap because they don't want to listen to it. So if the audio gets jacked up, then the video is jacked up. And not being able to see those bars on there is a huge deal breaker. I can see it and I go into the menu and I have to make those adjustments, talk like I would normally talk in a video with the right inflections and stuff like that, and volume, just to see if it's going to peak, and then set it and kind of forget about it and hope that nothing happens. But I've had times where I'm recording with this camera and maybe the cord kind of comes out a little bit and I don't realize it. If it snags on like my sweater or I move or something like that, it kind of pulls it out some. The port isn't loose or anything, but stuff happens. Then I'll get this buzzing sound because it's not fully connected. Well, with at least the G85, I can see if the audio goes out and the meters aren't moving anymore. Can't do that with the M6. So I don't have the biggest hands, but when you have this little bitty dial, and I'll kind of come in here, you got this little bitty dial that's going on there. It's great, I like it, but when my hand is on it, it's just, So when my hand is on this little dial, this little click wheel that'll move, my part of my hand gets on it and it can change the settings. Okay, I'm back. So yeah, it changes the settings, and that sucks when I am recording video or I'm taking pictures and accidentally just the fleshy part of my hand will accidentally hit that click wheel, and I have it set for different settings and stuff like that, and it'll kind of hit it. Again, I don't have the biggest hands. I actually think this is like one of the better sized cameras. Like again, compact, it's okay. Your hands will kind of curve around it a little bit, but if you have medium, small hands, you should be okay. But when you grip it just like that, your hand is bound to touch on it. So I'm like super conscious whenever I'm using that. So, I mean, it could be like a pet peeve thing, hand size thing, but I think for most people that's probably an issue as well. But I think that's like one of the other things that's just like kind of annoying because it changes the settings. My last pet peeve with the Canon M6 that I still love is the fact that it doesn't have comparable settings and features compared to other cameras in its price range. So between the Canon M6 and the Panasonic G85, and I'll link up a dedicated video where I'm kind of comparing the two up above. When it goes live, it'll be up there. I'll kind of compare the two and just share my thoughts about it. But about the same price, a $700, $800, or $900 camera, depending on, if you buy a used, on sale, whatever, but they're about the same and in the same price range. Feature for feature, pound for pound, the G85 steals the show every single time. And dual pixel autofocus is not enough to just say that's the end all be all. It's really not. Every single video that I've done with the Panasonic G85 is single point autofocus, and it works fine. Yes, it's nice and it's cute to put it up to the lens and it autofocuses on it and you can pull it back, but after I bought this, I really don't do it that much, and it makes my videos, to me, a little less polished, but it's perfect for vlogging and that kind of style content video if that's what you want to do, or unboxing or whatever. So for me, for the kind of content that I create, my particular styles and quirks, the dual pixel autofocus is great for vlogging and stuff like that, but I can live without it. And I think that's the biggest thing that made me switch from Canon to Panasonic, is that I can live without the dual pixel autofocus because this gets me by just fine. And I've vlogged an entire day with the Canon M6, and I've vlogged the entire day with the Panasonic G85. And the Panasonic G85 experience was much more enjoyable. And that's saying a lot considering it's a little bit of a bigger camera, the G85 is, than the M6. And, it's like this camera, both of these cameras came out same year, 2017. And as competitive as the market is, I feel like Canon is not really listening to the people that are buying their equipment. maybe these sales, like for us that are buying them, you know, convinces them that you'll buy regardless, or you want that dual pixel autofocus, right? You're going to get it, right? You know, it's like nobody else has it, right? Well, starting to be some Panasonic hacks come out there to improve the autofocus, and then Sony is right there on the tail and doing pretty gosh darn good. And you know, Olympus and Nikon and the rest of them, it's like you're not going to be king for long. So you know, it's like the dual pixel autofocus, it is nice, it is really, really great, but it's just not enough. So overall, I think the Canon M6 is still an amazing camera. I don't think it's a bad buy, but I think for what I wanted and what I was looking for, after I even learned that the G85 exists and what it really was, I was really upset that I bought the Canon M6 and I didn't buy the G85 first. Now, I'm glad that I have it. You know, again, I'm not going to get rid of it, I don't think, but you know, I've made it through the worst emotionally with that camera. And, you know, I'm just in love with the G85 at the end of the day, you know. So, but the Canon M6, it has some room for improvement. I hope that when Canon comes out with their next mirrorless system, that they really start to make a dent in the market. So question of the day: if Canon was to come out with the next mirrorless camera, let's say it's the M8 or something like that, what do you think they should put in the camera? Let me know your top 3 favorite features that you want to see in the next Canon mirrorless camera. Link it down below. I really want to see what you guys think about this. So thanks for checking out today's video. Definitely consider subscribing if you love content like this. I love doing these tech gear reviews and just kind of sharing my thoughts about these cameras and video marketing, because at the end of the day, it's super important to be creating video marketing content. Really find the gear and the pieces of technology that's going to work for you, so that you can just focus on running and operating your business, driving more traffic, and eventually bringing more income, even if you have a 9-to-5. But as always, my friends, live with passion. I'll see you guys on the next video.